JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was once thought to be an unadaptable manga. That is, there would never be a way to capture the strangeness, detail, and allure of the original work written by Hirohiko Araki. It's not like companies didn't try. In 1993, Another Pushpin Planning produced a 6-episode adaptation of the second half of Stardust Crusaders, directed by Hiroyuki Kitakubo. A3P were only given enough budget and resources to create 6 episodes. There wasn't enough time to cover everything, so they stuck to the latter half of the journey, which takes place only in Egypt. For 7 years, this OVA would be the only adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to animation. From 2000 to 2002, 7 more episodes of the first half of Part 3 were released to lukewarm reception, which is unfortunate because there are many things to be appreciated in this adaptation. In 2007, to commemorate the 20th year of JoJo's being published, the same studio, A3P, released a movie dedicated to the first part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood, to limited audiences in Japan and no home video releases. The animation was directed by the former character designer of the OVA, Junichi Hayama, and created in the same style of the original. Besides working on movies for Sailor Moon, Fist of the North Star, and Pokemon, Hayama is currently the lead animator on Golden Kamuy. A lot of mystery surrounds the existence of the Phantom Blood movie, and in some sort of ceremonious tribute, Katsuyuki Konoshi, the voice actor of Jonathan Joestar, joined David Productions to voice the villain of Golden Wind, the mob boss Diavolo. It's kind of poetic when you think about it. In a press conference leading up to Hirohiko Araki's JoJo Exhibition 2012, the new frontier of JoJo's was announced: David Productions' anime adaptation and a PS3 game, All-Star Battle. Araki was surprised that David Productions would attempt to make a third anime adaptation, stating in the All-Star Battle guidebook in 2013, "For 20 years, I've thought about how unsuited JoJo was for TV. Ha ha ha, laughs in Araki. It ended up being a lot bigger than I imagined. I'm so glad the fans enjoyed it." So with all this background knowledge, how was the movie JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood released on February 17, 2007. As for the discovery of the 2004 pilot, it's quite an interesting story. In the Tokyo International Anime Fair, there was a booth that played this video on loop to announce the pre-production of the movie. We've all seen this clip. It looks awesome. It's fantastic. At this time, though, it wasn't confirmed to be a movie. After the fair, the teaser was reportedly never seen again until this year, where a copy of it was posted on eBay. Someone had copied it onto a generic recordable disc back when they worked at the dubbing company. Character designs and animation quality are very different. This could have been a result of poor budgeting, a rushed production phase, though the latter seems highly unlikely. In my opinion, what the Phantom Blood movie fails to capture is Araki's bizarre nature. You can see this in the Stardust Crusaders OVA. While not bad, there's a lack of characters coming to life in the transition between manga and anime. David Pro tries to remedy this situation by using katakana sound effects, changes in color to match the tone, incorporate a wide variety of different shot compositions, and sink an honestly deal over heaven tier of an OST to each part. While the OVA and movie didn't have katakana sound effects, there was an effort to recreate the sounds, with a splurge in budget on George Lucas's Skywalker sound. That's honestly an amazing crossover, and a very cool detail. Araki probably didn't think a lack of those features made the movie unwatchable, but a lack of Best Girl Speedwagon did. Speedwagon is written out of the movie despite his brief moment in the 2004 pilot. The movie is only 91 minutes, and there had to be some cuts. Reportedly, the final battle only takes place between Jonathan and Dio. Speedwagon was likely removed due to budgeting issues and limitations. And what did they expect? The head of the Speedwagon Foundation has a hefty appearance fee attached with his name. Keep in mind, these cuts weren't necessarily out of disrespect, since the movie was in fact celebrating the anniversary of JoJo, but from my personal perspective, I find it a bit sacrilegious to not include Best Girl, who is the major supporting force for parts 2 through 6, though I can't hold anything against them. Despite that, there was a great deal of care put into the promotion and character creation, and I can't say this movie was made to trash Araki's work. It's an anniversary piece, and therefore a love letter in sorts to Araki's writing. He wouldn't have been invited to the premiere if they didn't want him there. Will we ever get to see the full movie though? I personally don't think so, but we will be drip-fed different bits of information and animation, whether they come through a PS2 tie-in game, or an OVA DVD, or some other online source. But as of right now, the full movie does not exist anywhere.
You like Speedwagon?
What kind of man doesn't?
But But the story doesn't end there. I made contact with Red Mango, the admin of the Phantom Blood movie Discord server, who's honestly been a great help in making this video. He gave me a list of common misconceptions to briefly go over and his own perspective on the film. To start off, we've already covered that Speedwagon was not in the film. By all accounts, the production was not troubled, and no one did, in fact, die during the making of this film, as confirmed by the composer of the film's score, Marco D'Ambrosio. The release was not as limited as people have made it out to be. We'll skip 4 for a moment, and the storyboard leaks were not specifically for a planned sequel, and an extra scene teasing Part 2, Battle Tendency, probably doesn't exist because the claim wasn't made until long after the initial screening. Going back to the 4th point, Araki never explicitly said he hated the movie, but I think there is an argument to be made that he was displeased of the final result. I mean, we are talking about Hirohiko Araki, the man of maximum humbleness. At least, that's the way he shows himself to the public. I mean, I see through your guys, Araki. There are a few angles you could analyze his feelings about the movie at. A, he wasn't being truthful in his appreciation for the 93 Stardust Crusaders OVA, which personally seems very unlikely. B, he believed JoJo's in its full, unabridged, bizarre nature could not be captured by any other medium other than manga. Or C, he tried to act like the older series and any other attempts to animate JoJo don't exist, which is what Shueisha does right now. The likely answer is probably a combination of B and C. Now we have to ask the question, why hasn't there been a DVD release of the movie? Clockworks took over distribution of APPP's JoJo series when the 2000s OVA was released, and was also behind the distribution of the movie in theaters. But in December of 2007, all JoJo media was purged from their website. Meanwhile, any information about the movie stayed up on the website of the OVA, movie, A3P, English dubbing, and Super Techno Arts. And this all happened around the time of the infamous Quran controversy. For those who don't know, Shueisha actually froze sales of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure after a scene depicting Dio reading the Quran and then ordering the execution of the Stardust Crusaders was shown in the anime. It should be noted that Araki himself never included this scene in the manga, so good job, Mr. Humble Guy. Just don't go destroying a mosque, because everything offends everyone, even 10 years ago. Red Mango postulates that a rift between Clockworks and Shueisha A3P could have caused the box office disappointment. Either Clockworks viewed JoJo's as an unprofitable property and sought to wait out or cancel their distribution contract. I know nowadays it's hard to believe something as popular as JoJo's would ever be considered unprofitable. Or Shueisha APPP blamed Clockworks for a bungled distribution and wanted to cancel their distribution agreement. At this time, Clockworks refused to distribute the movie. And then here comes the Quran controversy. Shueisha is then forced to cut ties with APPP completely, wait out the controversy, and start with a clean slate, giving us the current David Pro adaptation on the anniversary of the original series adaptation. And everything I mentioned about certain stylized choices being beneficial to the current adaptation still hold true. Keep in mind that currently there is no evidence supporting this theory. I tried to do some digging myself and didn't come up with much at all. So all the credit goes to Red Mango and the wonderful team on the Discord, but this topic certainly fascinates me to no end, and I would really love to explore it more. And there may in fact be more than what meets the eye. In 2011, Junichi Hayama talked about the movie in Italy, stating that he didn't know specifically why the movie was never made into a DVD, only that fans should remain hopeful. 9 years later, and it's hard to think anything will ever come from that, but it's just a good thought. Even though I don't believe the film in its entirety will be released, we may get to listen to the OST. The aforementioned composer, Marco D'Ambrosio, recently released the Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust OST on vinyl. Because the movie was behind schedule, Marco had to sync the OST to an incomplete cut, with storyboards filling in sequences that had not been animated. The first 16 minutes of that tape is what you see online today. I wanted to end this discussion with what a potential movie for JoJo's would look like. I recently watched the Konosuba movie, The Legend of Crimson, and I never laughed so much in the theater. What it made me realize is the potential that a JoJo movie could have. 3 words: purple haze feedback. Or shameless purple haze, I don't know, it depends on who you talk to. But regardless, there's no way it's getting an OVA adaptation. But a potential theatrical release would be an excellent companion piece and an epilogue to Golden Wind and Fugo's character. Plus, it would easily fit the hour 40-minute runtime. So David Pro, if you're actually gonna go through with this, credit who came up with the idea, which is, I'm not the first one to come up with the idea. Thank you so much for watching. After finishing the script, I realized Sudium made an in-depth analysis of everything leading up to the movie and how it was released, with all the sources attached. When it comes to information about the search for the movie, L Supersonic Q has a great video on his involvement. Both channels are linked in the description. Have a beautiful Duang, and I'll see you all next time.